Hello, it's Jane here, and despite last week's confessional, it was the February tour, I've decided I've got to show my face again and take my shame, because last week what I showed, if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link somewhere, the February tour was very much the allotment before it's been tidied up, ready for the season. So to be honest, I could have gone around and filmed the really nice bits, but what's the point? So that's a bit like tidying up before your posh relatives come round, and I just thought, oh, stuff it, you know. So anyway, so last week you saw quite a lot of things that needed tidying, and so this week I thought I really better get up now and start tidying them. So one of the major points was the ultimate behemoth behind me. I don't know if you remember the scenes from that. I just want to show, although it might seem a little bit overwhelming and a little bit off-putting, it's nothing that just putting your mind to it and spending a good few minutes tidying up won't sort. That's something that I'm sadly lacking most of the time. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with this front little bit here, because the sun's out and it's just lovely, a warm patch to sit in. So I'm going to faff about here for a bit, and once this front bit is sorted, the whole thing is going to start looking better. Then we'll take a little look inside and get that sorted out. Okay, you can see at the front of the polytunnel we've just got a whole load of dead plant material. Now, I've said to you before, and it's genuinely not an excuse for me not tidying up, but I do like to leave the plant material for as long as possible over the winter, so that it provides shelter, it gets a chance to self-seed, etc. But I think now, beginning of March, we can start clearing this lot up. But what you will find in here, there are a few little plants like this thyme here that I put in last year, and we should have, yes we have. We've got some lavender down there as well. So let's get these cleared out the way, and then we'll be able to see what else is in there. There we go, about quarter of an hour later. Didn't take very long at all. Last year this was full of cosmos and marigolds, so as in the calendula type, so I'm hoping that enough of them have self-seeded. I have got extra seeds to grow on anyway to plant, but yeah, there should be quite a few self-seeds in there, even though it's had a pretty good rake. I mean, the more you look, the more you can see, and yes, I know there's a dandelion by the door. But I will get rid of that later. But yeah, you might be thinking, well, you've done very well, Jane, but what are you going to do with that big pile of weeds in the middle? Guess where they're going to go? Right, all right, I'm just going to have to come clean here. I've been thwarted at the off because I've just gone into the shed to get our lovely stiff yard brush that would make light work of this in no time. And look what's happened. I'm gonna have to show you. Look at this. Look. That has been stood on at some point, and somebody's just put it back against the shed as if nothing has happened. And I don't think it's a mouse or a chicken. I think it's more of a mike. Might have been me for all I know, but yes, that's my brush option today. So, you know, it's not going to be quite as easy or straightforward as I thought, but we'll give it a go. It doesn't feel like it's going to snap anytime soon. So we'll see how far we get. But first of all, let me put you there. I just need to move stuff. Okay, so yeah, let's just make a start. All these onions here that didn't come to anything last year, so I might actually try popping them in again. I probably won't, but I might. But yeah, they were the onions that we had all around the outside of the tomatoes, and as such, once the tomatoes grew really big, we didn't really water them. They didn't do very well. Anyway, they might get another chance. Okay. This is why I don't like this this weed suppressant. Look at that, the edge of that. I'm going to put all this stuff straight in the compost, and I absolutely don't want that plastic mixed in there. So yeah, I'm going to have to try and sort that out later on. Okay, just want to say, wish me luck. Okay, we're about an hour and a half on, and that was such a quick and satisfying thing to do, apart from the brush. That was the opposite of satisfying. But as you can see, these bits are more or less clear. Yes, I know, as I said before, I've got dandelions there and I need to get them out, but I want to use my hurry knife for those, and I'm going to save that for another time, so ignore them for now, pretend they're not there. And then, actually, considering the brush situation, where is it? Yep. There it is now, but it fought to the bitter end. It really did try its best. We've managed to get most of this stuff out of the polytunnel, and the reason it needs to be got out of here now is because very soon this table, along with our other outside table, our round table, will be filled up with all the seed trays and bulbs, etc., that are overspilling from the greenhouse and from windowsills at home. So very shortly this is going to be, you know, a hive of productivity, she says. But if we look at the side, this side, you can see there are actually still some onions coming up. I'm leaving them in, but it looks a bit of a mess because this is the straw, the straw from when the chickens were in here over the winter. But you know what, that's going to break down, so I've just raked it on top. In here as well, we've dug in quite a few bucketfuls from our bokashi bin. So all the time the soil is getting richer, whereas on this side, let me come in, oh it is lovely and warm in here. This side was actually topped with cardboard and had quite a nice layer of compost over the top. And if we have a look now, let's see if it's, oh, you can see the cardboard there still, look, it needs a good wetting again. Yeah, let's see what's, oh look, a wireworm. Well, that's not what you're supposed to see under there, but there you go. Lots of wireworm, oh my goodness. Is this only good for wireworm? Oh, the chickens would like them, wouldn't they? Oh dear. Well, that's not what's meant to be happening. But anyway, in theory, this is going to rot down, bring lots of worms in, but it does need another good wetting. But as you can see on this side, it's just gotten ready to be used practically. in that we've got the tomato halos here. They're going to be staying here anyway, properly used for the melons, watering can. It's no good putting things away if they're going to come back in here. So yeah, I've got my bits and pieces. I've got my bokashi bin that needs to go back home actually, so it can be refilled. And I was in two minds whether to move the little tiny chicken run out of here or not, because the chickens probably won't be in here again this season, especially not when we start filling up with seedlings. But to be honest, it's as well stored there at the moment as anywhere else, and we might just let them in if we have a few really rainy days. They do like a good scratch, and they get rid of the wireworm. So yeah, I'm actually really pleased. The one thing that I would advise people, if you are about to put a path down, either say you've got a new greenhouse or a poly or whatever, I would avoid this stuff. Like I say, let's just go back up here. Oh, I've hit my head on the wind chime. Did you hear that? Look, this is the sort of mess you get involved with. Now, I know there's a way to remedy it, and I know we can just tuck it in. People have said before, and it's on our list of to-do things, what we need to do is just edge it, get some wood down there so that the plastic is tucked in downwards, and we can't get all those end bits up again, because they really are quite nasty. So yeah, very pleased with myself. Let me back up. I'm going to try and back up and not fall over, but you might hear the wind chimes again. But it's lovely and sunny, it's lovely and warm, and look at that. It's a bit different from last week, isn't it? Oh goodness, these have been out all winter. I'm sure the bolts have all gone. So if I go flying in a minute, you know why. I haven't been drinking, not this time of day. Okay, Mary, it's all right. Did I give you a fright? Did I give you a fright? There we go. We've got Mary again. Still looking very scruffy, but she's a sweetheart. Anyway, yeah, so that is really a really satisfying job to get done. As I say, it didn't take long. I mean, all I've done really is moved stuff from one place to another, including the soil. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'm a little bit concerned about, I keep looking in there now, I'm quite pleased with it. I'm a little bit concerned about those wireworms, because that was quite healthy, clean soil in there. So we'll keep an eye on them. We might let the chickens in for another good scratch around before we start moving seedlings in there. But yeah, nice thing to get done. Needless to say, I'm not going to be doing the greenhouse today after the whole brush situation. I mean, even with the best will in the world, that brush isn't going to go much further. So yeah, I may as well just wait and bring the brush from home. In fact, we've got, I know somewhere, we've got the old brush shank, is that what you call it, that we can just pop in, hopefully, and screw it in. So it should be a quick fix, but yeah, not for today. So yeah, done that, done the front. Sorry, I've just have to move my mic there because Mary was having a little peck at it. So yeah, Mike was up for about an hour earlier on, and he's fixed the archway at the front of the plot that's got the honeysuckle over. Again, if you saw the February tour, you'll have seen that the winds had got hold of that like a sail and not snapped the metal uprights, but certainly bent them and left them at a jaunty angle, because of course covered in honeysuckle it would have just been like a sail. So very much like the brush was at a bit of a wonk, the arch was at a bit of a wonk as well, but that is now upright, which means we can actually walk through it as opposed to over it. So again, it's just one of these jobs that looks terrible, but you know, doesn't take any time at all to do. So as I said earlier on, it's just as well, because we're at the beginning of March. Meteorologically, we're in springtime, but I know the actual spring is at the 21st this year. It's round about that sort of time. Yeah, and before I go, I have got to mention the elephant in the room. In that we know it's all over the news at the moment. We know terrible things are going on. But I can't go without saying, you know, please, I'm sure you all are anyway, but spare a few thoughts for those poor people who are going through just unbelievable trauma at the minute. And Yeah, I'm getting a bit teary actually. I'm not going to talk about it too much. But yeah, while we're sitting here in our gardens, sort of worrying about the wireworm, just spare a thought for those people who've got much more on their shoulders. Okay, and with that, I want you to all take care, be nice to each other, and I'll see you again next week. Okay, bye for now.